Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session on the evolving Indian buyer. I'm Vinod Ramakaran, and we run a marketing agency called Spinta Digital. At Spinta, we've been working with a lot of D2C brands, and we see there's a lot of evolvement of the buyer journey itself, like in terms of what the buyer requires, what is that buyer requiring for you to give them to buy. So we're going to be discussing about this in this panel. So let me just give them an introduction. Just introduce yourself. Yeah, we can just start. Yeah, so with many of our D2C clients, we see Indian buyers fiercely very value conscious, right? So when it comes to daily staples, but the very same audience will pay around 5x for a coffee or a skincare or phones that gives them status. So they're looking at aspirational. So in your experience, what triggers an Indian consumer to splurge on premium, and where do you see value first still dominating? You want to take that first?
Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here on a rainy day where we don't know how and at what time we are going to go back to our homes. So, India is a very unique market and it is always a value conscious market. Whether you're buying a product which is worth 399 or you're splurging 3,99,000 on a gift, you want value on both the sides. And that's what we see in gifting as well. At FNP, we have customers who would do like more of a mandatory kind of gifting and more customary where they will spend an X budget on the gifting. And then there are gifts that are to impress. There are gifts that are, really to make that big impact on the receiver. And their money is no bar. There people are looking at what is the experience that they are able to create, what is that wow that they are able to create. Having said that, at both the sides, there is value that they are looking for. And hence, whatever product that we are creating, whatever service that we are giving, it is important that the person should feel that there is some value for money that they are getting in return of the money that they are going to spend on it. Of course, the quality, the experience, etc., will differ as the price will go up. But then there are also certain standard, practices or standard expectations of the service that are there, which need to be delivered to whether the person is buying a product which is an entry level kind of a product of about 300 400 rupees, or whether it is a huge entire uh, bunch of flowers worth more than 3 lakhs. So that minimum quality of service has to be maintained to delight the customer, and of course from both the sides the value needs to be there.
Definitely. Yeah. And from yourself, in terms of how your experience with Lahori Zira has been?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm co-founder of a ethnic Indian beverage brand, Lahori Jeera. So, we are more of a offline heavy brand, and we've built from last 5 6 years. And I would say that, yeah, rightly mentioned, Indian consumers, they are very value conscious. But from our journey, we've learned that in India, if you want to connect to masses, uh, if you add aspiration to affordability, affordability plus aspiration, you can do magic. A lot of people who are out there, just by making it aspirational, even though small purchases, they want to see them as something with value add, always trying to perceive value, higher value in the every small and big decisions that they make while making purchases. So yeah, as Indians, we are very value conscious. So, yeah.
And yourself?
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Sachin Tagra. I run a fund called JSW Ventures. We invest in early stage tech focused businesses, and consumer is a very important part of our thesis. In the current fund, we are investors in about six consumer businesses. Most of them are either number one or number two. So referring to your point of, Indian consumer is value conscious or okay to splurge money. So we have businesses, which sell product worth 50 rupees to, which is in Purple, which is our second largest beauty commerce platform, to Homelane, which sells a kitchen or a home furnishing above 10 lakh. So the experience has been, of course, as the co-panelist suggested, that value is extremely important for Indian consumers. So I think everybody across the value chain or across the price points, consumers keep looking for a value. But what we have seen over a period of time is consumers are also ready to splurge money a bit, especially on the product and services which they can talk about in social media. So I think social media is driving a big change when it comes to splurging on fewer categories. We have a business that is one part of the story. The second part of the story, we are investors in a business called Cure Skin, which helps you cure your skin by applying skincare products. So it's a AI dermatology platform. There, our minimum selling product is worth 1,700 rupees, and 80% of our sales come from the tier two and lower than tier two customers, which tells us that even in tier three, tier four India, there is a propensity to spend. One needs to just give a right value to the customer. Why they pay for such kind of a product or a premium is because I think the access to dermatologists is limited. The access to products which can cure your skin is limited, which drives their motivation to buy a product worth 1,700 rupees. Interestingly, 80 to 90% of the sales come from UPI or cash on delivery. So the access to the payment side actually made this business very different. So I would of course agree on a value conscious Indian customers, but at the same time we are also seeing some bit of an increase in the premiumization in a lot of categories.
Yeah, thank you. So again, coming to the point of like what customers are looking at today, right? How do you think influencer marketing has evolved in the last few years? Like, see, we've run campaigns for like, say, using a celebrity influencer or a macro influencer, but again, certain micro creators in certain level, tier 2, tier 3 cities have actually outperformed. So what is your experience in influencers?
So, the Shah Rukh of Bollywood and the Shah Rukh of Kanpur, both are influencers. And they are influencing at different levels, but for sure influencers. Today, social media is a large part of any brand's discovery to consideration and also purchased in a lot of cases. And hence, it is important that what consumers are talking about, and let's take influencers as consumers, and these consumers slash influencers can be paid and it could also be earned. And the higher influencers that you have which are earned, the better it is. So gone are those days when you take one huge big celebrity and that celebrity influences everybody else's purchasing behavior. Today, you want to hear it from people like you and me, people who are more closer to you, and real voices are winning over paid voices thereof. And hence, the entire influencer ecosystem or the game of influencers is transforming a lot more than what it is right now. While people will still watch content, but if you look at some of the reels of influencers also, you will suddenly see that a paid kind of a ad will have much lesser engagement, much lesser, reach than what their organic content would have. Now, why is this happening? Because consumers know this is an ad. However, having said that, how is it that you are able to create content with an influencer that still resonates with the consumer of that particular content, where still there is some problem that you're able to solve, there is some solution that you're able to give to that consumer of that particular content. The choice of influencers has to be dependent on the objective that you're kind of wanting to meet for your brand. If it is just awareness, then you choose an influencer which has a large reach, large base, etc., and you consider it almost like a ATL media or a BTL media that you used to purchase earlier. Or if it is consideration, then you look at what is the fitment of the influencer along with that of the brand that is to be promoted. And if it is purchase, then it has to be really a focused group of people who get influenced, who just don't see the content but want to believe in what the other person is saying. Yeah, so, and it is changing every day. I think the influencer landscape is a fast evolving one. It has become super important, super critical in any brand or marketer's plan, and it will continue to gain importance.
Sure. And yourself, Nikhil?
So yes, I also believe that one standard communication might not cut it for the brand. India is a heterogeneous country, right? And with this influencer marketing and user-generated content, be it organic or be it sponsored by the brand, it gives you a leverage to be local, to communicate in a certain manner to a certain group of cohort. So, and it's a wonderful way to leverage the trust created by an influencer in his audience and upsell your product. So, I think this is a very edge for the new age brands, especially people who sell online, D2C brands, where they can leverage the audience of influencers, be local in their communication, be more relatable to the audiences in the form of user generated content, and then as we heard in the previous panel, that traffic is then taken over to a shopping place where they can convert them into the sales. So yeah.
Uh, Out of four campaigns, generally three have significant influence budget in them. That means 10 years ago or 5 years ago, the amount was hardly anything. Now, at least in our portfolio, there are some brands which are spending as high as 25% of their marketing budget on influencers. So, influencers are surely impacting the decision. Uh, there is another data point which says that around 65% of your purchasing behavior is determined by some influence on the social media, which are generally the influencers. So if that is the kind of revenue which is getting impacted by the influencers, marketers need to be present there. It can be both user-generated content or a brand-sponsored content. So there is an action on both sides. In our business, again, going back to Purple, they are the third largest content creator in India for beauty products. Similarly, Cure Skin use about 30-35% of their marketing budget with the influencers. So that's the kind of an impact influencers have on our business.
Great. Yeah, I just wanted to, while we are talking about influencers, I just saw some statistics in which about, say, 93% of content that is being seen by people are vernacular content in different languages, right? So what a campaign that might work in Delhi will not work in Chennai, for example, because India is such a large country where probably every 100 kilometers the people are different, and So, is there any particular strategy that you would recommend in terms of while you want to plan vernacular content, or what is the proportion that you would like to do?
This was always the case that India is not a homogeneous market. We are a heterogeneous market. All of us know every state is a country in itself. I think with digital economy coming up, it is easy to target and easy to design the communication or campaigns basis the taste of an individual preferences, which can be regional, which can be depending upon other demographics. But now it is becoming easier. So since it has become easier, the spends on the regional marketing has gone up. Now the latest number what I hear is about 30 to 40% of the money is going in the regional campaigns, which is also reflected in the way the media is consumed in our country.
How does that work for Funds and Petals in terms of your split of vernacular versus generic content?
So, while we have gifts that are vernacular also, so there is the choice of the customer to send their wishes in the language that they talk in and they converse in. So you can also send flowers with messages in Bangla, in Kannada, in Marathi, and so on and so forth. And we see a lot of customers prefer to send wishes in their regional language. However, from a media point of view and from a marketing point of view, we just don't look at customers based on regions. I think those lines have now dissolved to a large extent. Labubu today is a trend across the globe and not just in parts of India. People are buying Labubu cakes not just in Delhi, but they are also buying them in Bhilwara or Bikaner. So we have to look at the customer not just based on geographies. Today, the same customer in a different geography can also have the same kind of psychographic lifestyle or a psychographic profile that somebody sitting in Delhi has. Because today information is all democratic, right? today OTT, social media, and the internet, and the AI have brought information at the hands of everybody at a very, very democratic level. And hence, it's about the choice that the customer is wanting to make, and you need to understand that choice, that behavior of the customer, who then needs to be put into the cohort, not based on their region, not based on their language, but based on their preferences and based on their behavior. And that is when then you try and connect to the person in the language that they like the most.
And yourself, you want to add on to that?
So it's a very thin line decision for a brand either to standardize or get that edge of dissecting data, which is now possible. It wasn't possible like 5 years ago. Today you can dissect any form of data in any sorts of region or age or whatever. So yeah, I think if there's a offering which makes sense or to a particular group of cohort, and and you can do that focused marketing and build your business more sustainably. So that's a edge which is possible now. A lot of brands choose to have standard communication. I think for us, it works both ways. So on few occasions we largely keep it standardized, but on few occasions, so there are few festivals which are celebrated in a particular region. We channelize our marketing, in that local events in particular geographies. So yeah, largely standardized, but at occasions we use that edge of dissecting data. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's great. I also wanted to kind of ask you about like AI. I know your platform is Kioskin is completely AI, but in terms of marketing and in terms of the user journey personalization, right? We've been using a lot of AI now, and even in terms of content creation, in terms of photo shoots, a lot of value that is being provided by AI. At the same time, it also helps you to understand your customer better, make more sense of your data and kind of create that customer journey. So how far do you think brands should adopt AI now, and what are the pros and cons of it according to your experience?
Uh, uh, I don't think we have a choice now to adopt or not. Either adopt or perish. Uh, what AI has really helped us to do is to go to market much more faster. You have, I keep telling everybody in my team that we've got unlimited amount of interns now working for us in every department, because they can then ideate, they can brainstorm. It's like a partner that you can um, co-create stuff with. And this is across not just marketing, it's across business. It's across all functions of the business, whether it is operations, it's HR, it's marketing, within marketing, whether it is design or it is copy or it's just media planning, all of it, because you can do the analysis much more faster, you can do the insighting much more faster, and then some of the execution itself can also be driven through your AI pilots, etc. So it's completely transformed the way business is done. I also feel it has, like internet democratized information, AI has democratized the power to do business. Because now you don't need those heavy budgets to create a big brand film. You can sit in your home, one person can create an entire brand film and go ahead with it. Our Rakhi campaign, Rakhi Banai Khas, was a completely AI based film that we had created, which was done by 2 people in the team. So you can be much more nimble and reach out to the audience with the same effectiveness or maybe sometimes more than what you could do earlier with millions of dollars.
So for us, we are largely offline driven brand, but again, at the back end of the business, across functions, as so mentioned, AI has enabled and made things more streamlined and helped us grow. We have IIoT 4.0 installed in all the manufacturing units. We did that recently. That enabled us to gauge things in a different manner, even though we were manufacturing in a similar format from last 5-6 years. But again, that's one of the use case that we did at the back end that helped us, bring in more efficiencies. So I think AI is a very crucial enabler now, and there's no choice, right? I mean, if you want to build something in an efficient way, probably at some products it works in the front end as well, where you're selling online. But at the back end of the businesses, across functions, AI is playing a very crucial role in shaping up things.
As both the co-panelists said, there is no choice but to adapt the AI. What businesses are doing it for different reasons. Let's say Cure Skin is doing to identify the skin condition. We have a portfolio of a company called Homelane. They are doing to reduce the time to market, make better designs for customers. Purple is doing to identify the right influencers for their business. Um, so I think every business will adopt in a different way. There is another interesting story. One of my friend, he's a CMO of a large bank. What he did, he created three creatives or audio visuals about a minute each, and took it to the board and told them to identify which one is AI and which one is shot in a conventional way. Board did the voting and there was no consensus. At the end of it, he shared that all three were AI driven. So imagine, people sitting in the board couldn't even identify which was AI driven and which was a manual production. So that's the way AI is going to play a role in our lives.
Definitely, I also believe like AI is definitely here to stay. In terms of the what even Niti Walia was talking in the previous session, while a customer journey is there, right? Search is something which is very important, and people do need to find a lot more information. As we said, like Gen Z audiences are very inquisitive. Even in our office, if you see, the most questions get asked to me are by the Gen Zs, right? So they are very inquisitive and they want to know more about something before they buy. They want to be so sure that they're making the right choice or they're not getting fooled. So how important is for you for brands today to be visible on search, having a lot of content out there, and not in terms because we typically talk about Instagram, YouTube videos, but in terms of actual search on Google, having content on the website, talking more about the product, etc. And how do you think brands should handle that?
So for a brand, it is very important to be available where your consumer is, like be it online, be it offline. For us, we're largely on lot of old brick mortar stores, old kirana shops. But again, also we also acknowledge that quick com is something that is growing really fast. So we also, I mean, it is relevant for us to be over there as well. So for a brand, you need to be everywhere. You need to be omnipresent where your consumer is. It can be different for different products, and how the value proposition what you're selling, your platform might differ. But again, being relevant at point of sales is unavoidable. I mean, it's not a choice that a brand has.
Yeah, so we are an omni-channel brand. We do a large part of our business through online. Consumers come to us on our fnp.com website, and then they order gifts for their loved ones to be sent across India, across 120 plus countries in the world. And at the same time, we are also present across multiple physical stores, which is the largest presence for any gifting platform in India. Uh, we are present across quick commerce and so on. So, like Nikhil said, that it's important to be where the customer is. Now, about the content being out there for the consumer in terms of when they are wanting to do that purchase. And like we said, that today it's unpredictably predictable in that sense. You are impulsive, and sometimes you are planning too much in terms of the R&D when you're making your purchasing decisions. So there needs to be content across platforms, like there is supply and there is demand that you cater to across multiple channels. There is also information about your brand that needs to be there across all channels. Some of that you will be able to regulate, monitor, and deploy. And there will be other that even if you do not want to deploy, will be deployed. There are people who, when they sample your brand, when they use your brand, they will put out those reviews. They will talk about the brand. For us, a large part of our promotion is actually done by the receivers of those gifts, because once they've got the gift, they put that picture on their Instagram story or their WhatsApp profile, and they tag the person who sent it, they tag the brand from which they've got it, and that's a big source of word of mouth for us as a brand, organic word of mouth that happens for us. And we make sure that we are acknowledging such customers, we are talking to those customers on a regular basis, because they are really the mouth through which the brand is able to speak to a much larger audience. And through all of these channels, one thing is very clear. You spoke about the Gen Z. Gen Z is a very, very smart audience and customer cohort. They are very easy to cancel a brand. Why? Because they differentiate between what is just being done for lip service and what is actually being genuinely held as a belief, as a value by that particular brand. And hence it is also important for the brand to not just put this content across the different channels or mediums of internet that is there, but also to live by it and deliver it when the time comes. Otherwise, it is a negative impact rather than becoming a positive impact.
Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to kind of touch upon since you said about happy customers and stuff, right? So about referrals and stuff. I mean, how do brands today kind of make sure that the customers are happy, making them as brand advocates, and how do you what would your suggestions be for them to kind of give us more referrals? And even today, in one of the sessions, they were talking about how referral is extremely important. And so wanted to know more from your end in terms of, is there any, you can always have a referral scheme and you can always put it out there, but how do you actually implement, how do you suggest brands to kind of use that as a powerful tool where they can get more and more customers coming through? Because performance marketing can take you to one level, but then your customers are going to drive your business, right? So any take on that?
So for the large part of our journey for initial 4-5 years, we only grew by word of mouth and referrals. People who would try our drink and they would recommend to their guest or to their family and friends that this is something different, try this. So this is something which cannot be derived or forced upon. It's very organic thing, but it's most powerful weapon in terms of marketing, because word of mouth and through referrals, the trust factor somehow kicks in, and it's irreplaceable by any paid ad. So for us, I mean, we didn't had to. We were lucky. We got lucky, and because the product consumer hook was really deep, so the people connected straight away, and it was organic for us. I mean, it wasn't forced by us, or we never, did something to derive that kind of behavior. But yeah, we grew largely because of word of mouth initially, and then as and when the brand grew well, and we again started marketing. But initially, in the initial phases, that was the only thing that had worked out for us. How to derive that kind of behavior, I'm not sure, and we don't sell largely online, so our offering is really affordable. So we don't do any referral schemes as such, but I'm sure there are brands who do it. There are premium or expensive products which rely on referrals and referral discounts. Yeah.
So I'm sure Kioskin could use a lot of referral, right? Because we work with a wellness tech brand as well, and I think for them referrals make a big difference.
So, I'll classify the referral in three parts or three kinds of businesses. One, which is a pure product business. Second, the product business, which has a service element. And third, which is purely a service business. I think referral works very different, or a customer experience, let me first address that, works very different across three segments. When it comes to the product only, one, of course, the product quality has to be good. Second, the process from the ordering till delivery has to be smooth, has to be frictionless. When is my product coming in, whether the payment was, payment experience was smooth, the delivery was smooth. When I opened the product, it was as per what we committed. I think that will drive the sort of a customer experience and a referral. When it comes to product and services, I think the services play an important role in terms of time of delivery, the quality of delivery, the people who have come to deliver how they have executed it drives. And third, which is a pure services business, which is like a hotel, hospitality, travel business, which has its own challenges and a own way of standardization. There, I think reference works much more stronger than any other category. And the team which is delivering that service has to be fully trained, has to be up to the mark, has to have a global standards to be able to drive the experience, which will in turn lead to a referral for all three categories.
Yourself, your point of view?
Uh, so like Sachin mentioned, we are there in that zone where we are product plus service. One side, you want the flowers to be as fresh as they can be, and at the same time, you also want them to be delivered in a certain way by a certain person, and that's the reason a lot of people, while we are omni-channel, we are present on a Zomato, Swiggy, and a Blinkit as well, but they prefer to buy products from our .com website because of the years of trust that they have. We continue to maintain that leadership in the market because of this trust that they have and the word of mouth that then happens through that trust, that you know what, if you order flowers from FNP, if you order a cake from FNP, if you order a gift from FNP, it will reach on time and it will reach as you're seeing it on the website. That in itself is a big trust, because you are delivering your emotion to the other person and you want it to be delivered in the best possible manner. And hence, this trust is super critical. That is exactly why the customer continues to come onto the platform and, repeat again and again. Um, Word of mouth hence comes from the experience. Once you've got a good experience, and the product also, again, we are in a category thankfully which is out there. It is a part of celebrations. So when there is a flower arrangement that is kept and the flowers just are blooming and vibrant, somebody will ask or check, where are these flowers from, and the person will say they've been delivered by FNP, or they'll cut a cake and they'll say, oh, yummy cake, where is it from? And that's where the marketing is happening, that's where the branding is happening, that's really the moment of truth for the brand. Yes, we have other programs also where we identify some of our loyalists, some of our customers who are our strong brand ambassadors, and then they also become evangelists and become referrers of the brand. But that is a smaller program. The larger program is those who are getting these products everyday basis.
As you rightly said, it's predominantly driven by the quality of the products, the service, the person who's delivering the service, etc. So we just have a couple of more minutes. So just wanted to ask you guys, do you have anything in particular to talk about any, what is the topic, right? The evolving Indian customer. So is there anything that you would like to add on to whatever we spoke? Yeah, anybody has any questions that you would like to ask our panelists? Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up, right? Sure. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, panelists, for being here.